Mic check, check.
Mike.
You're watching News 4 at noon on your side in high definition.
A second nurse from Texas Presbyterian Hospital tests positive for Ebola, while the CDC is now looking to interview more than 130 airline passengers. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Melissa Carlson.
And I'm Bill Frankmore. Thanks so much for joining us this midday. Yes, the fears are rising as a second healthcare worker who helped treat an Ebola patient in Dallas has now tested positive for the virus. The CDC has a rapid response team in there to handle the situation, while 75 other healthcare workers who had contact with the patient are being monitored for symptoms as well. Jay Gray is outside of the hospital in Dallas with more.
Hazmat teams moved in before the sun came up in Dallas with word that a second healthcare worker has tested positive for Ebola.
No one wants to get this right more than our hospital, the first to diagnose and treat this insidious disease that's now attacked two of our own.
Officials will not release the name of the patient, but do say she was a part of the medical team that included critical care nurse Nina Pham, who was also infected, treating Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan, who died as a result of the virus. The women are part of a group of 77 healthcare specialists who had contact with Duncan, were identified by the Centers for Disease Control, and are being monitored right now.
We are preparing contingencies for more, and that is a very real possibility.
In a conference call last night, union officials read statements they said were from anonymous nurses who treated Duncan.
Were the protocols breached? The nurses say there were no protocols.
Nurses said Duncan had contact with at least 7 patients in the hospital, that initially they were not given full protective gear, that they had only optional training on Ebola, and that staff moved in and out of the isolation unit without being decontaminated.
We're looking at every element of our personal protective equipment and infection control inside the hospitals. We don't have an answer for this right now, but we're looking at every possible angle around this.
Dangerous, potentially deadly angles that seem to be shifting almost daily. Jay Gray, NBC News, Dallas.
And officials are also saying this latest Ebola patient flew on a plane from Cleveland to Dallas the day before she was hospitalized. As a precautionary measure, the CDC wants to interview passengers aboard Frontier Flight 1143. We join now Terry Hendry live from Reno Tahoe International Airport, where she addresses the concerns from a lot of airline passengers. Terry.
Thank you for that live report. And this just in this noon, we have an update now to the Yosemite National Park fire that started last week, resulting in one pilot's death. Federal investigators say pilot Jeffrey Hunt may have hit a tree with his air tanker and tore off a wing as he approached the fire. He was dropping retardant on the blaze and crashed into a steep canyon wall. The National Transportation Safety Board said the twin-engine S2T air tanker was destroyed when it hit a mountainside and by a subsequent fire. A more complete investigation is ongoing, and final report likely will take months.
All right, a look at our forecast for today. Were you up all night because of the wind? I know I was, not because of the wind, but because the wind kept my kids up and the kids kept me up.
Man, similar story in my house, too.
They were scared the whole night long.
Sleepless night for sure. Let's toss it over to meteorologist Tim Studebaker, who, by the way, slept like a little puppy, he says.
Yes, that's right. We
Like a
shared
rock.
that. We shared that this morning on News 4 Today. That is absolutely true. I slept just fine with the wind. The wind doesn't bother me. There are other things that keep me up at night, not the wind, but other weather phenomenon that will. I get kind of excited to see stuff out there, so I'll watch stuff online. But hey, either way you slice it, we had a windy night last night into this morning. We're still seeing some breezes out there. Not enough for a wind advisory anymore. That's been dropped for much of the area, but lake wind advisories remain in place now for Pyramid and Tahoe through the afternoon. Right now, 12 miles per hour in Reno, 30 miles per hour instead still. So there is still some wind out there, 29 miles per hour in Silver Springs, gusting between 20 and 30. Look at Stead, 46 mile per hour gust recently in the last hour. So yeah, there is still some wind out there, and also road restrictions as a result of those winds. High winds in Washoe Valley prohibiting trucks, buses, trailers, and RVs. It's been like that for the entire morning. We also have some showers out there, including some snow showers at the highest elevations. And hey, Ray up at 7,000 feet over by Lake Tahoe says that he got about 0.24 inches of rain with a low of 39, so no snow at 7,000 feet around Lake Tahoe. Thank you, Ray, for the phone call. Much appreciated. And also looking at some fog and obscured views of Lake Tahoe from his house right now. So hey, the moisture's still out there. We'll continue to watch it through the day, and the winds die down later. Forecast coming up.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. Well, a former school teacher charged with murder in the shooting of an unarmed trespasser at a vacant home he owns was back in court this morning. The lawyer for 73-year-old Wayne Burgarello says he's ready to go to trial and is anxious to prove he was acting in self-defense. Defense attorney Teresa Ristenpart said that after a month of repeated requests, Sparks police have finally agreed to let her view all the evidence from the vacant home where Burgarello is accused of killing one man and seriously injuring a woman back in February. Ristenpart said there's no need at this time to postpone the January 20th trial date.
The Sierra Nevada Corporation is being awarded a satellite contract by the U.S. Department of Defense. The company will develop a next-generation satellite known as the STP-SAT-5. The satellite's going to carry a total of 4 scientific payloads to low Earth orbit in order to further the DoD's understanding of the space environment. The STP-SAT-5 is scheduled to launch in late 2016.
And today, the local organization Reno Cycles and Gear is helping in the fight against breast cancer. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, the store is hosting a raffle where someone will win a Polaris RZR 800. Participants who come by the store will also have the chance to win other prizes. Tickets are just $10 and can be purchased at Reno Cycles and Gear, located over on Kitsky Lane, 3445 to be more specific. All proceeds will be donated to benefit Moms on the Run.
Still to come, we have an update from the Middle East as the U.S.-led coalition continues airstrikes today.
And it is a wide range of possibilities as Olympian Oscar Pistorius waits to learn his fate in South Africa. The latest on his possible sentence when we come back.
News 4 at noon in high definition continues.
Welcome back. The U.S. military said today that the coalition conducted 21 attacks on ISIS near Kobani over the past 2 days and have appeared to have slowed their advances. However, ISIS today reclaimed responsibility for a bombing in Baghdad where 25 people were killed. NBC's Richard Engel reports.
U.S. airstrikes around the city of Kobani do appear to be making a difference. Defenders in the city and their representatives tell us that they are much more confident now that they can hold on to the city, and they say that the airstrikes have given them some breathing room. It still could change. ISIS is still trying to launch attacks, but they are in a much better position now than they were a week ago. But the longer this conflict continues, the more clearly it becomes that this is a sectarian fight. It is not just a united campaign led by the U.S. against a bunch of Islamic extremists. This is a sectarian war, Sunni versus Shiites, in Syria and in Iraq. In the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, and militants are just on the edge of Baghdad and have also been carrying out car bombings inside Baghdad itself. The city is protected by a ring of Iraqi soldiers. The Iraqi army forms the outer perimeter around Baghdad. But the inner core, defending neighborhoods in Baghdad, is made up of a variety of Shiite militia groups. And it's not surprising that Amnesty International recently came out with a report accusing these militias of carrying out executions, retribution killings, rounding up Sunnis, some of them civilians, and torturing them and killing them and dumping them in the streets. And it is this very ugly nature, this undercurrent of sectarian tension that is emerging and that is really defining this war against ISIS. Richard Engel, NBC News, Duhok, northern Iraq.
Secretary of State John Kerry is in Vienna to take part in a new round of negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. Kerry joined European Union Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton and Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif for talks today. Now, nuclear talks between Iran and a group of 6 world powers are supposed to yield a comprehensive deal by the deadline of November 24th.
South African Oscar Pistorius arrived in court today for a third day of sentencing proceedings after being convicted last month of killing his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp. Now, the judge began hearing testimony on Monday before deciding what sentence the athlete should serve. Pistorius was acquitted of the more serious murder charge in the shooting death of Steenkamp, but he was convicted of a lesser charge of culpable homicide or killing Steenkamp through negligence. It has a wide range of possible sentences in South Africa, from a fine and no prison time to as long as 15 years in prison.
Stay with us. We're going to be back with a look at our forecast. Wild overnight. Those clouds not looking very good. Are we going to get any rain? Stay with us.
Now, your weather forecast with meteorologist Tim Studebaker.
Good afternoon and welcome back. So we had that wind last night into this morning. That was basically the biggest part of the story for most of us going through the overnight. Still pretty breezy out there. We still have those winds holding on, but they'll start to let up into this afternoon and mainly into this evening and overnight. Believe it or not, light winds overnight tonight. Should be better for sleeping for a few folks who were kept awake by the wind last night. Scattered showers out there coming to an end. They are still out there, especially in the Sierra and then also into parts of north central Nevada right now. And even some snow showers at the higher elevations going on right now. We will continue to see those come to an end, and again, quieter overnight tonight. 12-mile-per-hour winds in Reno gusting to 20 miles per hour. Those are not terribly impressive numbers. It's breezy, but it's not all that impressive. 59 degrees. Even more impressive, the fact that the temperatures really haven't moved all that much. If anything, they've cooled a little bit since earlier this morning. Those temperatures were held up by the winds last night. 57 in Carson City, 64 in Dayton, and 58 in Minden and Gardnerville, with 40s at the higher elevations like South Lake Tahoe, Incline Village, and Truckee right now. We will continue to see just a little bit of warming into the afternoon, but really not all that much of a change from this morning. Cold front continues to push through. It brought showers to us this morning. It continues to bring showers to places just west of Lake Tahoe into the Sierra, and again, also up into north central Nevada right now. The rest of us pretty much looking dry at the moment. Those winds will begin to ease. The shower chances go down throughout the day today, and the winds really ease up tonight into tomorrow. Not looking at too much wind on the 7-day forecast either. It's much quieter after today. Mostly cloudy skies out there. Scattered showers still possible, especially Tahoe northward and Reno northward up toward the Oregon border. 50 degrees in Kings Beach for the high, 54 in South Lake Tahoe. A lot of folks barely moving from this morning's temperatures. There was a bit of a cooling late this morning into early afternoon. There could be another little bit of a warming ahead of us, but again, it's not going to be a warm day today. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds gusting to 45 for eastern parts of the state today. They continue to see the winds all the way through the day and into the night tonight, very similar to what we saw yesterday into last night. 68 in Fallon, 66 in Lovelock. Up to the north, look for highs into the 50s and 60s there. Kind of a raw, kind of a wet day out there a little bit for some spots who got some rain and even some snow at higher elevations. This is basically it, though. That cold front did its work. It's cooled us down quite a bit. Now it'll be leaving us, so that means the winds will be decreasing overnight tonight. The rain chances are decreasing through the afternoon today, and temperatures not really moving all that much. Upper 60s to near 70 for the next few days. A quick warm-up on Sunday and then cooling down again with another system brushing us. That one staying dry, though. Not too much wind with that one either, at least for now. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we get closer to it. And that's basically it. We are much cooler than the last several days going through the entire 7-day forecast. Back to you.
Tim, thank you so much for that. Coming up on News 4 at noon, we are joined by St. Mary's to talk about dense breast screening, what you need to know.
First, also you need to know stocks suffering their biggest losses in years as the dollar slumps. Dow Jones down 314 points right now. We'll be back.
Hey, St. Mary's, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me okay with the microphone?
St. Mary's, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Catherine, can you hear me?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks for being with us.
Can you hear me now with my face away from the microphone?
I can hear you just fine.
Excellent.
Yeah. Hey, can you do me a favor and pronounce your last name for me?
Albrecht.
Albrecht. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to be talking, you're an ultrasound supervisor at St. Mary's, and we're talking about ABUS. A-U-S, right?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. So we have got just about, let me see here. We've got about 3 minutes to get through this. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is dense breast tissue and how do you know if you have it?
Right.
And then secondly, should women with dense breast tissue receive an additional screening or is a mammogram enough? And then third question is, what is an automated breast ultrasound screening, or ABUS, and what are the benefits to having that screening? And then how can people get more information?
You got it. Those are the questions.
Now let me ask you something. How do you know if you have ABUS? I mean, not ABUS, dense breast. Is it something they can just manually find out, or do you have to take a mammogram to find out?
You have to have a mammogram. Breast firmness, you can't tell the density based on feel. So it's going to have to be based on the mammogram and what the radiologist says when he reads it.
Okay.
I know a lot of people think that this is instead of a mammogram, but it's not. It's for
Yeah, you just, anything you can do to get away from that mammogram. I hate to say it, but it's the truth, right? You just don't want that stinking mammogram. So you're like, oh, maybe I could just go straight for the ultrasound. But no, that's not the case.
No, mammogram will detect cancer earlier than ultrasound.
Okay.
Because they'll detect calcifications.
Okay, 15 seconds. Stand by. Let's go through it. And welcome back. Well, dense breast tissue can make detecting breast cancer more difficult, much more difficult. And if you have dense breast tissue, you want to listen up. Joining us live via Google Plus is Catherine Albrecht, an ultrasound supervisor at St. Mary's, here to tell us about ABUS, the most effective dense breast screening out there right now. Catherine, thanks for being with us.
You're very welcome.
Okay, let's get to it. If anybody doesn't know, what is dense breast tissue, and how do you know if you have it?
Well, breast tissue ranges from fatty to dense, and nearly 40% of women are classified as having dense breast tissue. It's really important to know your density because you have a higher chance of breast cancer with the higher density breasts. Breast density is determined by the radiologist who reads your mammogram. Women with over 50% dense breast tissue are classified as having dense breasts and would certainly benefit from the automated breast ultrasound screening.
Okay, so should women with dense breast tissue then receive that additional screening? And basically what you're saying is just the mammogram isn't enough.
That's right. Mammography is essential for all women, but those women who have the dense breast tissue, getting the ABUS will certainly help. It helps the radiologist see through the tissue to find potentially a cancer that was not seen on the mammogram. And that's why St. Mary's offers the automated breast ultrasound, referred to as ABUS, which is the only FDA-approved technology for screening dense breasts.
What are some of the benefits to ABUS?
ABUS has many benefits. Our goal, of course, is to catch cancer early. It's different than mammography in that it uses sound waves, and it creates a 3D image for the radiologist. It makes it easier to detect the cancer in those women with the dense breasts. Again, it's FDA approved, so most insurances will cover it. It's very comfortable compared to similar products out there. Precise and sharp images, the radiologist goes all the way from the top of the breast down to the muscle, and he'll analyze the breast millimeter by millimeter. And it's very easy and comfortable for the patient. The ABUS procedure takes about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and speaking of comfortable, there's women out there right now saying, oh, great, well, I'm just going to go straight for ABUS. I'm not going to do the mammography in the first place because that is painful, or whatever they may be thinking about it. Can you go straight to ABUS and totally bypass a mammogram?
You can't skip the mammogram. Mammography is essential to catch cancers when they're early, when they're in the calcification stage. So if you get your mammogram, go straight to ABUS if you've got dense breast tissue, and the doctor will use both screening methods to thoroughly evaluate your breasts. So certainly do both technologies if you have that.
All right, if anybody would like more information, how can they get that?
stmarysreno.com. All the information is on our website.
Awesome. On our screen as well. And if you'd like to take a second look at this, you can find it on our website as well. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. And stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you, Catherine. This is my jam. Don't you change it.
please tell us we're going to calm down.
We are. Yeah, the winds are going to let up over the next several hours here. By this afternoon and this evening, a little bit less than we saw this morning. Slow progression here on the calming down of the winds. But by tonight, we're just talking light winds out there. Barely any wind for the overnight period. So you should get some more sleep.
We're
hopefully.
Exhausted.
I know. I'm hearing that all day long with everyone I know. But you know what? We are going to see cooler temperatures continuing and quiet weather after tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you right back here on News 4 at 4.